right, let's jump right in. Today, I'm putting on my tough love financial advisor hat because we really need to talk about hidden reality, one that the modern economy quietly depends on you never fully figuring out. In this explainer, we're diving deep into the true cost of lifestyle inflation. Look, my job is to pull back the curtain on the numbers, and what I see in my practice day in and day out is pretty wild. America didn't magically become a country full of wealthy people. No, it became a country full of financed lifestyles. So let's unpack this illusion together. You really have to ask yourself, why exactly do millions of Americans look completely loaded but are actually just scraping by, living paycheck to paycheck? And just to be clear, I'm not talking about people pretending to be something they're totally not. I'm talking about regular, hardworking folks. We're talking teachers, nurses, sales reps, office workers, people making totally decent money, yet they're driving luxury cars, living in these high-end apartments, and somehow they've convinced themselves that this whole setup is completely normal. Let's just set the scene for a second. Picture this. You're standing in line at a coffee shop on a random Tuesday morning. The guy right in front of you taps his phone to pay for like a $9 coffee. He's wearing medical scrubs, so maybe he's a nurse or a tech, and he's carrying this faded everyday backpack. But then you spot his keys. Big BMW logo. You look outside, and sitting right there is a brand new metallic gray BMW X5. It's still got the temporary tags on it, massive tires, and a monthly payment that is honestly probably roughly equal to the rent on a small apartment in Ohio. And here is the craziest part. Absolutely nobody blinks an eye. Financing six-figure lifestyles on a middle-class salary doesn't even look strange to us anymore. It's just Tuesday. So how did we even get here? Well, it all really comes down to one single question. 5 little words. What's the monthly payment? I'm telling you, that one sentence has reshaped the American middle class more than almost anything else over the last couple of decades. We've essentially built this economy where almost everything expensive, the car, the vacation, the new kitchen, that $1,200 smartphone, can just be sliced up into tiny, digestible monthly chunks. And the trap is, once people stop looking at the total price tag, they stop asking themselves, wait, can I actually afford this? And they just ask, can I swing the payment? It's this temporary magic trick that lets anyone live way above their actual income level. Now, the thing about lifestyle inflation is that it's super insidious, mostly because it's practically invisible while it's happening to you. It's not like you wake up one morning and decide, hey, I'm going to financially suffocate myself for the next 10 years. No, it creeps up on you. Step 1, you get a slightly nicer car. Step 2, you upgrade to a quote-unquote luxury apartment. Step 3, ordering food delivery on a Tuesday night just becomes your new normal. And by step 4, dropping $7 on a latte doesn't even register as expensive anymore. Almost overnight, your entire income is pre-spent before the month even kicks off. And because literally everyone around you is doing the exact same thing, this incredibly dangerous financial behavior just blends right in. Okay, let's ground this in some reality. Meet my hypothetical client here, Jason. Jason is 34 years old, he works in pharmaceutical sales, and he's pulling in around $92,000 a year before taxes. Now, 20 years ago, that was incredible money. But in 2026, it's basically just enough money to look successful while quietly struggling the entire time. And the really important thing to understand about Jason is that he isn't being cartoonishly reckless. He's not out buying yachts or, spraying champagne at Vegas pool parties. Not at all. He is doing exactly what millions of Americans do. He's just trying to look like a successful adult who has his life together. Let's actually do the math on Jason's life because the numbers don't lie. His take-home pay after taxes and everything is roughly $5,900 a month. Right off the bat, boom, $2,450 goes straight to that luxury apartment rent. Another $948 goes to the leased BMW. Then you add $540 for auto insurance and gas to put in it. Throw in his student loans, minimum credit card payments, phone plan, and oh yeah, that gym membership he uses maybe twice a month. You see what's happening? His fantastic salary is just vanishing instantly into this trap of rented appearances. And the results? Well, it's pretty terrifying when you look at it like this. Out of his $5,900 take-home pay, $5,000 goes strictly to fixed, locked-in expenses. That leaves him with just $900 for the entire month for groceries, medical bills, saving for the future, or literally anything else life throws at him. He has absolutely zero margin. And let me tell you, in the real world, living without financial margin is exactly like driving down the highway at 90 miles an hour with no brakes. It's only a matter of time, because he has absolutely zero wiggle room. What happens when things inevitably go wrong? Because, spoiler alert, they always go wrong. Whether it's the check engine light suddenly glowing on the dashboard, a weird dental bill, a last-minute flight for a family emergency, or, heaven forbid, the dog needing surgery. Jason doesn't have the cash. So what does he do? He does what millions of others do. He just puts it on a credit card. You see, debt today feels like a convenience. Just tap your phone, split it into 4 easy payments, 0 down today. It's totally designed to be emotionally painless, which is honestly exactly what makes it so incredibly dangerous. And where does all this lead? It leads us to this jaw-dropping statistic right here, $104,000. As of 2026, that is the average non-mortgage consumer debt for an American household. I'm talking car loans, student loans, credit cards, and those sneaky buy now, pay later balances. Over $100,000. It's an absolutely staggering amount of debt weighing people down. And yet, if you just scroll through social media, everybody looks like they're rolling in it. So, we really need to draw a hard line here between actual wealth and what I like to call financed wealth. Financed wealth is essentially just the rented appearance of success. It's created entirely through debt rather than actual ownership. Look, a guy driving a $90,000 truck doesn't necessarily have money. He just has access to financing. Real wealth means you own things outright. Financed wealth means you just have a really big monthly payment. And modern America has gotten dangerously good at blurring the lines between the two.
And this mentality, it totally bleeds into the everyday economy. Take a look at the modern apartment formula. It's almost comical. Developers realize that if you just slap down some gray vinyl floors, toss in some stainless steel appliances, build a tiny gym with 3 treadmills, and put the word luxury on the leasing website, boom, you can hike the rent up by 40%. Entire cities are now just packed with these 700-square-foot boxes, rented by people who absolutely cannot comfortably afford them, simply because regular, normal apartments basically just don't exist anymore.
Which brings us to the psychology behind all of this. Why do we do it? Because people aren't just renting shelter anymore. They are literally renting an identity. In 2026, looking wealthy really matters economically. I mean, it impacts dating, networking, your perceived social status. Instagram doesn't just make people compare their lifestyles anymore, it actively pressures them to finance them. The fancy apartment says, hey, I'm successful. The car says, I'm important. People are just desperately trying to visually signal their success to strangers, and in the process, they get completely trapped maintaining this image that actually costs way more than their real life. Now, I know this is going to sound a bit harsh, but we have to look at the sheer economics of insecurity here. As a financial advisor, I see it clearly. Financially stressed consumers are incredibly profitable for the system. The bank profits off your interest. The apartment complex profits from your aspiration. The car companies, they profit straight from your insecurity. And the influencers online profit from making you feel like you're falling behind. The modern economy basically thrives by convincing ordinary people to normalize massive financial pressure. Everyone else gets paid when you feel like your current life just isn't quite enough. So let's fast forward and compare 2 very different futures. On one hand, you've got Jason at age 49. He just kept inflating his lifestyle with every single raise he got. Sure, he's got the sweet car and the beautiful apartment, but he is incredibly stressed, he has 0 flexibility, and his actual net worth is shockingly low. Then you look at Daniel at 49. Daniel makes the exact same $90,000 Jason does, but he drives an older, paid-off Camry, lives in a completely normal apartment, and heavily invests the difference every month. Now, nobody online thinks Daniel is winning, but by 49, Daniel has absolute freedom. He can walk away from a toxic boss tomorrow if he wants to. He can handle emergencies without a second thought. Daniel has actual wealth. Jason just has really good branding.
And that brings us to the core takeaway from today's explainer. It's a simple truth. The fastest way to look rich is spending money. But the fastest way to become rich is keeping money. Those 2 paths, they look virtually identical to everyone else until you hit about age 45. And then the gap between them becomes massive. One person has appearances, the other person has options. And let me tell you, having options matters so much more. True luxury without the crushing financial stress requires an extremely high income, usually top 10% kind of money. But the illusion of luxury? Well, financing has democratized that illusion, completely destroying people's financial stability in the process.
So before you go out and sign that next lease, or before you upgrade your car just because everyone else seems to be doing a little bit better than you, I really want you to just pause, actually sit down, and do the math. The single most expensive thing in America right now isn't housing, and it isn't healthcare. It is pretending to be richer than you actually are. Let me leave you with a secret. The genuinely wealthy stopped trying to look wealthy a long, long time ago. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Are you buying status for strangers, or are you buying freedom for yourself? Choose wisely.